child's liver.
Your child's liver. That's quite a laceration, isn't it?
It is.
It is. And you heard the testimony that it would be 24 to 72 hours out. So either Monday morning to Saturday morning, correct?
Correct.
And he was just telling you his stomach hurt?
He was pointing at one point saying, my stomach hurts, and that's all.
And you heard Dr. Eisenstadt say this is a serious injury, right?
I did.
And that quite a bit of force would be needed in order to cause that injury.
That is correct.
But so Monday he was just okay?
Monday he was throwing up. I was at work all day Monday, so I did not see him all day. I only saw him during the period of time when I returned home for lunch and when I returned home after 5 p.m.
Okay. And he was hurting overnight though, wasn't he?
No.
He wasn't?
Overnight, what day?
Sunday.
Sunday, no, he was not.
Now you said just a minute ago that you stand by the statements that you gave Collins, correct?
Correct.
And in your first statement, you told him that the symptoms started Sunday night.
I told him that on Sunday. He told me that, Mommy, my stomach hurts, and that was all.
That was not your first statement to him.
It was my first statement to him.
Well, we all watched it.
We did.
And they can watch it again.
They can.
Yes, they can. So Monday he's throwing up. Is that right?
Monday, when I got home from lunch, I suspected that what was on the floor was a puddle of juice. I did not suspect at that time that it was thrown up until after he threw up with me after I returned home around 5 p.m.
But you didn't take his calls for help seriously, did you?
I did take it as seriously as I could from what I was presented and what he was showing me.
I think you had said that he'd never thrown up like that before.
He has thrown up like
He
that.
has thrown up like that before. But he's a crybaby, isn't he?
He's a crybaby in the sense of he would tell me or he would cry if something was seriously injured or seriously wrong with him.
He would tell you if something seriously wrong with him?
He would be crying and he would notify me that something was wrong. The point would be to say full sentences yet, so it would be fragments of this, mommy this, mommy that.
Well, is a 2-inch laceration to a 2-year-old's liver serious?
Yes.
It's very serious. That's why he died, right?
Correct.
But he didn't say, point, he wasn't crying, it wasn't really alarming to you, was it?
He was not crying, he was not crouching over, he was not holding his stomach, he was not doing anything except for saying, Mommy, stomach hurt, and Mommy, juice.
And you expect the jury to believe that a 2-year-old crybaby, who you said cried over everything, who had a 2-inch laceration of his liver, wasn't really crying?
I expect him to believe what I saw and what I presented.
When did you break up with Keon?
Me and Keon ended our relationship around February of 2021.
Why?
Because
why?
we just broke up. That was our first time dating. And 2, all of this was going on, so it was really a lot for me to even try to be in a relationship with anyone or focus on anything other than my child in this case.
And you knew him, right?
Correct.
And you repeatedly denied that he would have done anything to your child.
That is correct.
But you deny that you did anything to your child.
Absolutely.
And the time frame, as we've all heard, is that you and Keon are the only people who had access to him.
During Sunday to Monday.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Other than the Saturday that you were at your father's house, right?
Yes.
Okay, but he was fine that day.
He was running around.
And then Sunday is when he's not feeling well?
Sunday night is when he first mentioned Mommy, my stomach hurts.
Okay. And then it's Monday?
Monday, after I got home from work, yes.
Okay. But you say Keon would never do anything like that.
That is correct.
But you deny having done this thing.
That is correct.
So who would have done it if the only 2 people were he and you?
That is a good question.
So we just don't know.
We don't. Considering, and I will say this, nurses, they've all testified that my child did not have bruises on his body when he was presented to them. That is Tuesday morning. So, according to that time frame that you're trying to give me, by Tuesday morning, if something like this would have happened, he would have absolutely shown bruises or something on his body to a complete staff of medical professionals. And every one of them got on this stand and testified that they saw nothing. So I also did not see anything to a point where I thought that I needed to rush my child to an emergency room after hours, after everyone was already off. I did not get home from work until 5 o'clock. That is after hours. I would have had to make an after hours appointment. I did not choose to do so because that was the first time that my child had grown up in my presence. And I believe that keeping him home would have sufficed for enough time for us to be able to monitor him and then decide from there what we needed to do.
So you said you didn't see anything.
I did not see anything.
Right. At some point you said you gave him a bath and you complained his balls hurt.
I was washing his balls, scrubbing his balls, obviously, because he had threw up on himself, and he said, ouch, and I assumed that it was because I was rubbing his balls too hard.
Well, and I'm looking at State's Exhibit 10, which is a picture of that very region of his body.
Correct.
Okay, so he said, is that not kind of a weird place to have a pain?
Not while I'm rubbing it, no.
Okay, so you never saw the injury.
I never saw
To him.
anything.
You had no idea.
I never saw anything.
What about the injury to his cheek?
I was not aware of any injuries to his cheek.
No, you didn't tell Sergeant Collins that that was from a hickey?
I did not tell him it was from a hickey. I told him that me and my child often kiss each other and like to suck on each other's faces.
And is that what caused that mark?
I have no idea.
So it could be from you sucking on your child's face.
Could be I have video of me sucking on his face.
Now, it's your testimony that you and Kadeem moved to that Lakeview Road apartment so you could have easy access to the pediatrics office, right? And we've seen the medical records, correct?
That is correct.
And you said that you were a regular.
That is correct.
And what would you take him in for?
There have been multiple allergic reactions, random ones. He also had breathing issues that either they would send us to the emergency room for, or we would already be there, or it was regular checkups. And then, of course, I always saw them whenever his allergies would flare up or he was vomiting removed.
And you didn't have any problem taking him right away, right?
I didn't take him right away then either.
Okay. You never took him right away?
To the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a problem, you just took him to the doctor, right?
No, you have to make an appointment.
Okay. You have to make an appointment?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, obviously, you have to make an appointment.
That's obvious.
Would you make an appointment once you saw his symptoms?
I would make an appointment once I monitor his symptoms.
Once you monitor his symptoms?
Yes.
Like you monitor his throwing up?
From 5 p.m. until the morning that he passed.
Were you monitoring his symptoms when he threw up in his sleep?
I was sleeping, so no, until I went into the room. That was my intent, to get up in the morning. I set my alarm to get up in the middle of the night to go and check on him.
But you were aware that he threw up while he
In
was
his bed,
asleep?
correct.
And that wasn't alarming?
It was at that point. That was my very first